A$AP Rocky and Rihanna are expecting their first child.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this, and this is, we haven't ran this part of the clip yet, so I don't know how it's going to be really taken, but me and TK Kirkland had a conversation about this. And I mean, number one, listen, I've briefly interviewed Rihanna years ago, and I met A$AP Rocky once or twice.
Right.
I don't, the point is, I don't know either of these people.
Right.
These are total strangers to me. So I don't know them. But what surprised me a little bit, and TK kind of agreed with me on this, is that when you look at someone on the stature of a Rihanna, self-made female billionaire, one of the most desirable women in the world, a monster on the music side, an even bigger monster on the fashion and makeup side and so forth. Millions of men lined up, to be with her and so forth. She gets pregnant before getting married, which kind of surprised me. You know what I mean? Because me and TK talked about this, and TK was like, yeah, I mean, she's a baby mother. She's not a wife. Like, Rihanna is technically going to be a baby mother unless she gets married before, she has the baby.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear what Vlad is saying. He respects Rihanna so much. You don't want her to be called a baby mama.
Right.
I totally respect that. You don't, not Rihanna, not the billionaire who's done all this stuff. You should not have the title of a baby mama.
Exactly.
I respect that.
And at this point, that's what she has. And this is not a knock at Rihanna. This is not a knock at A$AP Rocky.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like act your wage. You guys are at a very high level. And if you guys have decided to have babies with each other, like, this is a very big commitment. And this is really setting up for multi-generational wealth and so forth. Like,
it's a big responsibility. I totally agree. I totally agree with you 100%.
And when you look at people, her peers of that stature, Jay-Z and Beyonce, Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz, I think I'm forgetting one or two other people. Once you get into that financial status and you think about legacy and empire and so forth, that usually comes with marriage. It doesn't come with just having a bunch of kids with, various people that you're romantic with. So that to me was a little bit of a disappointment. And as someone who's married yourself, how did you take that?
I'd marry Rihanna right now. I'd marry right now, even with
You call your wife, sorry.
Hey, baby. I think that one of the things that I find interesting about this whole situation is wealth is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use that tool to build whatever happiness you want, whatever semi-reality you want. And sometimes we have, shaped their ideas through our prism. But if she's a billionaire and she gets to do, or a independent woman, she could do whatever she wants. And she did. And she doesn't have, when you talk about her peer, what, she got 2 people? Like, she wouldn't even be able to fill out a whole jury of her peers. Like, literally, it'd be like 4 people.
No, not true.
Like, it'd be 4 people, like
Offset and Cardi B.
No, not billionaires.
They have a lot of money.
Not like that.
They're
like
getting up there. Cardi B especially. When
you're talking about, I'm talking about Rihanna makes more money off the other. Even at that, she is a woman that comes from a country with the Bahamas.
She's not from the Bahamas.
Barbados.
She's from Barbados, yeah.
Comes from a different place. Come here and does it. I think it's dope. What I think is dope about this whole thing is watching a woman do exactly what the fuck she wants and say, I'm doing it. Exactly what the fuck she wants. Like, I just think it's dope that she just gonna say, I could be whatever. Cause from Chris Brown, that incident when we first really started to know it, to this, you see this independent, erudite, sophisticated, socialite businesswoman who's made a decision, as opposed to the first time she came into the public zeitgeist. Hey man, I think to be able to kind of shape her reality and plant her flag and say, this is what I'm doing, I think it's dope.
Yeah, and I understand your point of view, but you know damn well that being a husband is a lot different than being a baby father. Living in the same house, having joint bank accounts, having an actual
the only
family.
person, like, I would have to talk to Stedman about that. Like, it's the only place, like, I wouldn't have, like
Shit.
Like,
Stedman was in the guest house when he had COVID. Like,
I'm
you know
never
what I
in
mean?
the position where they can leave the baby and she can leave the baby and take me and wouldn't need nothing from me.
That's not true.
Nothing.
Money-wise, she doesn't need anything from you. But not having a father in the house all the time is a loss.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a loss.
Take yourself, look at your kids, right?
Right.
Look at your kids, especially with, your son,
Right.
We talked about, his
Right.
special needs
Right.
and everything else like
Right.
that. Turn your relationship, look at all these years with your relationship with your kids and say, okay, I'm going to swap this out for every other weekend.
Right. It would, yeah.
They
But
would
now,
not have turned out the same
it
way.
wouldn't have. And now, but take those and say, I'm going to swap you out every other weekend, but I'm going to be around her. And I wouldn't give a fuck what happened to them kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I think that the value in the father is oftentimes miscalculated because I think it's very important. I think that if you look at my son's situation was decidedly different than it would have been because he has his father in his life, and the less medicine, less treatment, it's
right.
provable.
This is what I'm saying.
But
I had a father in my life, and I don't think I would have turned out the way I did if my father was not around.
But I can hold these two ideas in my head. I can say, but I think it's dope that because if she's pregnant, she made a decision.
Yep, not to abort it.
She made a decision.
Not to take, birth
she
control.
made a decision to have this baby by this guy.
Yeah.
And it's dope that she is an articulate, bright, young, everyday, wealthy woman who made this decision.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, and they're saying they're going to get married after the baby comes. We'll see what happens. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. None of my business. But like
I hope
said,
Rihanna get me pregnant. I hope that.
And you want to get pregnant by Rihanna. remember Chris Rock, I think was the tambourine man?
Yeah.
Where he said, after he divorced his wife, he thought he could go holler at Rihanna.
Right.
And she looked at him like a grandfather or something. The look on her face was just so disgusted.
Yeah, he's funny looking.
He got his teeth fixed though. Remember the old
still
Chris Rock?
Still Chris. Still.